Hello, Mr. Sherman here, and I'm part of the Modern Learning Resource team at the Peel District School Board. And today we're going to be looking at the wide walls of Google Slides and looking to remix the functionality of this piece of software to go beyond the usual designation of a slide presentation tool. And today we're looking at how to use it as an app prototyping or software prototyping tool. When we ask modern learners to develop software, or if they're naturally intrinsically motivated to try to develop an app for a phone or tablet, going straight to that stage of going into a coding environment and trying to develop something and working through all the glitches and bugs and flow functionality and feedback in real time in that can get really frustrating, get really heavy. Even in Scratch and MIT App Inventor, there's a lot going on right there. So we want to make sure that by the time we get to that stage, we've got a lot of the architecture worked out. So as you know, you're working through the design process, you're asking questions, you're generating ideas, you're doing interviews with people in the environment, you're trying to develop a solution from an empathetic lens and a human-centered lens and all these types of things. And you're looking at business models, and then you get to the app architecture of how it's all going to fit together, and then finally get to the prototyping based on that architecture. By the time you get to that stage, you do just want to sort of figure how your app flows when it's in the hands of your testers. So as you create a prototype, go test it, get the feedback, modify that prototype, and do that process a few times. You want something that's easy to configure and change around. So that way when you find something that's pretty functional and you get to the coding stage, that becomes much easier. So the prototyping functionality within Google Slides is a great way to utilize it. So in order to set this up, I found that this works well with the learners that I've worked with, is that I set up the border of the screen and I duplicate that slide many times so it looks like a phone or a tablet. So it looks like an Android phone here. It's got the home button, the back button, and all these types of things. So they work within that space. Then they develop a little logo, right? And we try to use that a number of different times. If you are going to use like a nice sophisticated graphic, you want to get permission from the artist, or you want to get a licensing fee, you might want to get something that's free to use in different capacities too. So you might want to look at Google's AI Draw Assistant program that they've developed, which makes it really easy to create like graphics just like the one you see here. And details about how to get to that are in the description below the video. Now, once we have some of those aesthetics worked out, then you want to actually include buttons. Similar to the buttons that you'd find in a program on your screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the vast array of shapes that Slides has, and I'm going to insert those. But rather than putting an external link, I'm going to include a link within the presentation. So I'm going to link each button to a slide in my presentation. So I'm going to select the one it's going to go to. I'm going to apply that setting. I'm going to move it in so it's laid out in a nice way. Down just a little bit, perfect. And then once I put in a few of these details, then I can go and I can present, and I can click through this app the same way I would be clicking through, the slide presentation, the same way I would be clicking through an app. So, oh, I want to learn more about this company. So I click there, and maybe then they have a quick description. Oh, I want to go back to the home button. Okay, so now, I got terms of service, things like that. Okay, let's go with the app. So I'm going to hit let's go with the app. Oh, I got to insert my player details. So I'm going to start putting in those details and things like that. So this is a nice way of quickly prototyping what's going on within the app that you're trying to develop. And it's a really easy way to move things around and add things in. So when you get to that actual coding stage, a lot of that's worked out, and your modern learners are ready to go to share their ideas and develop solutions around the problem they're trying to solve. Thanks a lot for listening.